I want to thank Fianna Fáil in the first instance for bringing this and allowing us to have an opportunity to discuss it, although I share the deep cynicism in relation to the background when it was Fianna Fáil that set the privatisation agenda, and in relation to telecom, which saw the creation of billionaires and the loss of opportunity for rolling out major infrastructure in our country owned by a state company. Many comparisons have been made to the rural electrification scheme, and a complete ignoring of the fact that it was a state company that rolled out that rural electrification scheme. Also, the Minister tonight, and while I have great respect for the Minister on a personal basis, the nature of his speech is actually frightening. And it's frightening in his failure to learn anything from the mistakes of the past. And once again, either himself or his officials, I'm not sure, are lecturing us that we shouldn't question the expertise. How dare us to question the expertise? And they go out to set out that expertise. And as I've just about 2 minutes left, I won't go into the list of expertise, but it's certainly frightening to name out the companies, finishing with now business intelligence. And if anything was lacking in this, it was both intelligence and business, utterly lacking in this. And now we're in a situation where 542,000 houses are without broadband. And you know, Minister, in Connemara, we have the most ridiculous situations where almost as near as Deputy Pringle to me the houses are, and one house has it and the other house hasn't. And we as representatives have been writing letters and we've been told it wasn't commercially viable, but the state will provide in due course. But the state hasn't provided, and the state has foolishly once again relied on the private market to provide, and we end up with this after many pronouncements. And the idiocy of talking about a delay of 6 months. Of course, a review is the most basic thing that's necessary in this, a basic review. And we've had pronouncements, and Deputy Ryan is to my right here. He made the first pronouncement in 2010 and told us we'd have the rollout by 2012. That then was followed by Deputy Rabbit, who was very articulate in telling us when we'd get broadband, followed by Deputy White telling us when we were going to get it. And then your Minister, in fairness, was left with a very bad legacy. But there was a golden opportunity for him to do something different, and he didn't. And what's forgotten in all of this as well is this ENET was a company set up by the state. I understand you're in the process of selling that, or what's the appropriate word, getting rid of it. But was that not set up by the government, the ENET? And surely questions have to be asked as how the government last year made a decision to allow AIR effectively remove 300,000 homes from the original plan. Where were all these experts that were set up, Minister? What risk assessment was done? I mean, there are many other questions. I see the clock flashing, but I certainly support the amendment by Sinn Féin. I certainly support the tenure of what's been done tabled by Fianna Fáil, but I think the Sinn Féin amendment is right and proper at this point. Let us learn something. Let us not use the same language that we used in relation to Anglo-Irish Bank. Remember that? And all the bankers, they knew best, and they were so big they couldn't fail. But most of all, democracy was ignored, and we had no role, and we're being told tonight again we have no role.